Hello, hello, and welcome to this week's edition of Coaching Corner with me, Tracy Forsyth. So today I want to talk about the fact that if we want to grow in our careers, it's really, really useful to get comfy being uncomfortable. So what am I talking about? Well, anything new, whether it's like learning a new skill, starting a new job, stepping up into a position of leadership, anything like that can make us feel like we are, or definitely can push us out of our comfort zone. And, anything new, it makes us feel a bit wobbly, a bit uncertain. Often we feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get found out. And we are acutely aware of what we don't know rather than what we do know. It's new, right? So the thing I think that's really useful is to just to really remember that being out of your comfort zone means you are in your growth zone. So if you remember that times in your career when you've learned the most and you've learned fastest is probably when you were thrown into the deep end and you just had to you had a very steep learning curve, but you did it. So when you are out of your comfort zone, you are in your growth zone most of the times. Anyway, when you're talking about learning a new job or doing a new skill. So it's like, I just think back to my school days. We used to go on ice skating on a school ice skating trip every year. And, just that putting on those little skates, wobbling to the side of the skating rink, getting onto the ice skating rink, clutching the side, and then starting to take a few steps like this, still holding on, and then going out into the middle, feeling all sort of ungainly. Well, you've got to do that if you're going to learn to skate smoothly, let alone master the pirouettes. So everybody that we see who is mastering those pirouettes, metaphorically speaking, has been through that wobbly phase, that wobbly stage. It's just what we have to go through. And so whether you've been ice skating or not, I think you'll know what I mean. I hope you do. Anyway, so I think it's useful that actually in psychology there are 4 stages of competence for learning any new skill. And I think it's really useful context to think about us and when we're going through transition or when we're learning something and feeling that we're going to be found out or that we're feeling imposter syndrome, etc., etc. So I'm going to detail them. The first one is unconscious incompetence. So that means you don't know what you don't know. You're unconscious about your incompetence. You've got no clue. Now, the second one, which is the one that's really, really uncomfortable, and when we're in our growth zone, is when it is conscious incompetence. So we know what we don't know. We know that we're not expert. We are consciously incompetent. And that is the time that's really, really difficult and really uncomfortable out of our comfort zone. But you have to go through that bit to get to conscious competence. So you know that you are competent about things. You can do things. You are consciously competent. And that's when we start to feel a lot more confident and a lot more relaxed. But there's another step. There are 4 stages. The last stage is unconscious competence. That is when we're so used to doing it that we don't even realize that we're doing it. So for example, driving is a great example. So when you first drive, especially if you do stick shift, just that whole clutch, brake, balance, finding the bike. Do you remember how difficult that is when you first start to do it? But then when you pass your test, you've learned all that, you get to that unconscious competence where you're basically driving around, changing gears without even thinking about it. So remember that. Where are you now on your journey, on your 4 levels of competence? And if you are feeling, oh my gosh, I'm going to get found out, or feeling like an imposter, or just feeling, uncomfortable, then you're probably at the conscious incompetence. No, the conscious, conscious incompetence stage. but recognize that you just got to get through that to get to that conscious competence and unconscious competence. It's quite a tongue twister now. But anyway, so my big message this week is really, if we want to grow, feeling uncomfortable, being outside of our comfort zone is a totally natural thing to feel. And it is one that we have to go through in order to get to the end point of feeling like we know what we do, knowing that we know what we're doing. So get comfortable being uncomfortable. So when you're learning a new skill, when you're stepping into a new role, when you're climbing the ladder, etc., almost expect it. Expect to feel uncomfortable. And if you can, embrace it. Embrace it. Remember, you are in your growth zone. So expect it, embrace it, and grow. So I'm going to end today by saying, not be fearlessly you, but be fearlessly uncomfortable. All right, let me know if that's helped. And if anybody wants any questions about coaching, let me know. I will see you next week. Take care.